you have a performance within a performance here, but there's not going to be a retelling of the story that is told by Phemios. Still, the way there are references to the story, anthropologists would say indexes, indexing, those indexes or indices correspond to the way a real performer would cue those who are listening. And I'm thinking especially of the word nostos, where we already know that nostos means not only a safe homecoming, but a story about a safe homecoming, or even better, a song about a safe homecoming. And once you have that word, next thing you know, right at the beginning of line 327, you have an adjective. Fancy word for this kind of adjective is an epithet, lugros. And that cues the listener that, oh, this is an epic that has a disastrous storyline. And similarly, in the Iliad, when we hear about the anger of Achilles, there's an epithet, oulomenē, in the next line, right at the beginning of the next line, which can also be translated as disastrous, which again cues the listener to the fact that there's a special kind of story where all sorts of devastation, disaster will happen. And the positioning of this word, lugros, at the beginning of a line, almost tells the story, even though the story isn't retold. Another kind of cue is that Athena is described as bringing the story to fulfillment, epi-tellesthai. And this is a variation on a word that we see elsewhere in the form telos, which can mean in certain situations that a project is being carried out to its proper conclusion, or a better way to say it, fulfillment. If you say conclusion, it means too much that something has come to an end. I'd rather think of something that is a project that is accomplished, mission accomplished. So this nostos of the Achaeans is going to be not just a homecoming, it's a story of a homecoming, and it's a story that can have happy or sad endings, depending on the hero. And everybody has already had their endings by the time this story is being told, because every one of the Achaeans has either made it back home or has perished in attempting to get home. Only Odysseus, so many years later, is still in suspense. The story is still suspended, whether he'll get home or not. And that's, of course, what really upsets Penelope, who comes down from upstairs and tells the singer to stop. She says, this kind of singing may be okay for an audience like the suitors, but it's not okay for me.
So, Greg, can I ask why Athena brought it all to fulfillment? We just saw Athena, bringing very different things to fulfillment, connecting Telemachus to Odysseus.
She has such a complicated role in the Odyssey because there's the epic past, and there's that very unforgivable thing that Odysseus did in the Trojan War, which is destroyed the citadel of Troy. And the citadel of Troy, of course, contained the temple of Athena. So there was a violation of the goddess as she was worshipped in Troy. So that's a problem for the pre-story. Sure, Athena wants to help Odysseus, but there have to be some things resolved, and that's one of them. And we know from plot outlines of other epics that Athena was very angry at the Achaeans for what they did in the final hours of Troy. And that version of the Troy story is definitely resonating here. So I think it's very accurate that it's Athena whose will or whose planning is in control of the kind of epic that Phemios is singing. I find it very interesting, of course, that not only are we cued that this kind of epic has a disastrous plot line, but then when Penelope refers to the same epic at line 341, she uses that same index, this time lugrē, this disastrous song. Lenny and I have been debating about how to translate lugros and lugrē, and he likes to translate as catastrophic. And I really love that translation, except the one place in Odyssey 24 where Agamemnon describes his own wife, Clytemnestra, as lugrē. And I just can't bring myself to translate there, my catastrophic wife. If he says, my disastrous wife, somehow it works better. But in the interest of consistency, I come out translating this as disastrous. And it works in almost every context. So the song is disastrous and shows you that nostos doesn't have to be a safe homecoming. It can be a story of a homecoming that is thwarted by the gods. And that means that everything is still in the balance here.